I'm going to take a slightly different approach here, and I'm going to talk about a couple of specific issues that are relevant to our industry at the moment. For those of you not familiar with Imperial Oil, we're an integrated oil company involved in production and refining and marketing products. We have about 500,000 barrel per day refining capacity in Canada, spread out over 4 refineries. Each of those refineries' operations depends extensively on catalysis. It runs the whole gamut: alkylation, hydrotreating, hydrocracking at one refinery, sulfur recovery. So it covers the gamut. You can go to the first slide, please. One of the key issues facing our industry at the moment is really being driven by legislation, and that is reduction of sulfur in transportation fuels. I think many of you are aware, but probably didn't notice anything in the marketplace, is that there was a huge effort over the last several years, culminating in the adoption of 30 part per million sulfur gasoline back a couple of years ago. It was basically transparent to the end user, but that activity was underlaid by a significant amount of work both within the catalyst vendor community, within oil companies themselves, to come up with solutions that could be adapted by the refineries, remembering that we have large, complex facilities that really aren't too amenable to major changes. It's not like we're going out to build a grassroots refinery. That work, all refineries had to comply, so people had a number of technology options. My colleagues at ExxonMobil developed one of the leading technologies, the scan fighting technology for selective cat naphtha hydrotreating. IFB, Axon's developed the Prime G technology. CD Hydro is another. There's a number of technologies that are out there. More current and coming into effect later this year, within a couple of months, is ultra-low sulfur diesel. So ULSD, 15 part per million sulfur requirement for on-road diesel. How are we achieving this? Well, it's really a combination of more aggressive hydrotreating of distillate streams and developing appropriate blend strategies in the refinery. And what that really does is it segregates higher and lower sulfur streams. These current off-road diesel limits are approximately 5,000 parts per million at the moment. They'll be dropping over the next several years through 2007 and 2010. And this is where what we're able to do now for on-road diesel isn't going to be adequate. We're going to run into much more refractory sulfur. We have no longer going to have any places, any high sulfur streams that can handle those. So we'll be looking for technologies that can deal with that. Next slide, please. A couple of issues around this whole area, and it's been addressed in a number of the presentations this week, particularly in the heavy oil presentations, and that is the role that nitrogen is playing in this desulfurization process. Generally, nitrogen inhibits desulfurization, and we know from our own experience that denitrogenation to low levels can increase HDS rates significantly. We also know that it can improve sulfur removal by adsorption processes. So what are some of the options that we think are out there? Well, obviously there's catalysis and all the aspects of that. So removing nitrogen via HDN, adsorption processes, there's been a number of talks about that, and potentially oxidation followed by some kind of back-end processing. Another big issue, and John referred to this, is a lot of the excellent work that's been done has focused primarily on a host of model compounds. But in the end, we need to deal with real streams, with real deadbeat sulfur that is extremely refractory. And model compound studies can only carry us so far. So I guess I would reiterate the challenge that going after real streams is certainly an objective that I think people should have in the back of their mind. Next slide, please. For us as an industry, what are technology options that are available? Well, it kind of runs the gamut. Certainly, cannabis vendors have a number of commercially available technologies that are available to us to consider. In-house development within major companies is an option. We at Imperial Oil don't do a significant amount of cannabis development work, but our colleagues at ExxonMobil certainly do. So we are fortunate in that we're able to utilize their capabilities and their developments. Another area, and this is really where the bridge or the link between industry and academia comes out, new lead generation through sponsored R&D. We at Imperial Oil have a program known as the University Research Award Program that funds academic research through basically an application process. And I know that a number of people in this room have in the past or are currently holders of these university research awards. And in general, what we're looking for, it's not necessarily focused on catalysis. We're looking for novel approaches to dealing with these industry problems. So we've funded programs obviously in catalysis, but also in absorption and some process work as well. So it's not restricted to catalyst development. We have, for people who maybe aren't familiar and are interested, I've put in the presentation a link to our corporate website that gives a description of this program, all the information you need if you felt that you were interested in applying for funding for something that your application would go to a technical committee that reviews them, tries to align the focus of that proposal with our business needs and funds appropriately. So I'm going to stop there, and if anybody has any questions later, I can